If this story touched your heart, we'd love to hear from you. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. It's amazing to see how far these stories reach. Your voice matters here, and we read every single comment. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because tomorrow's episode will take the emotions even deeper. Don't miss it. One story can change the way you see love, loss, and strength. Michael had never been the warm, affectionate kind of father. At 38, he was successful, respected, and always composed. But when it came to his daughter Lily, he was distant, almost unreachable. Lily was just 6 years old, a sweet and thoughtful child who loved to draw butterflies and tuck her dolls into bed at night. She didn't ask for much, just a hug, a smile, a little acknowledgement from the man she called Daddy. But Michael's eyes never softened for her. His hands never reached out unless absolutely necessary. It wasn't that he was cruel. It was worse. He was indifferent. The only time Lily ever saw her father smile was when he looked at Jake, the 7-year-old son of Vanessa, Michael's former college sweetheart. Vanessa had recently returned to town, bringing Jake with her, and from the moment they walked through the doors of Michael's life again, everything changed. He bought Jake a shiny new bike, attended his soccer games, and carried him on his shoulders like a proud dad. Lily watched from a corner of the room, her tiny hands clutching the hem of her dress, wondering why she wasn't enough. Then came the day of the school field trip, the day everything broke. The school grounds were buzzing with excitement as kids lined up for the zoo tour. Suddenly, chaos erupted. A frightened animal escaped, sending children and parents running in all directions. Amid the panic, Lily found herself gripping her father's hand tightly, her heart racing. But when Jake's cries echoed nearby, Michael didn't hesitate. He yanked his hand free from Lily's, sprinting toward Jake, scooping him into his arms as if nothing else mattered. Lily stood frozen in place, her small frame trembling, her hand still outstretched in the empty air. That was the moment something inside Lily shifted. The last flicker of hope, the one that whispered, "Maybe Daddy would love me someday," quietly burned out. When Emily, her mother, finally reached her, Lily wasn't crying. She looked up, her voice calm but steady, and said, "Mum, let's go somewhere far away, somewhere he can't find us." Emily's heart shattered. She had endured so much for the sake of giving her daughter a family, swallowing years of loneliness, hoping that Michael would one day choose to love them both. But Lily's words were clear. She was done hoping. That night, while Emily held her close, Lily whispered, "I used to love Daddy so much, but I don't think he ever saw me." Emily couldn't argue. All she could do was nod, stroke her daughter's hair, and promise her the one thing she still had power to give: a new beginning. One where Lily would never again have to beg to be loved. Emily hadn't always been the strong, composed woman people saw today. There was a time when she was soft-hearted, trusting to a fault, and that trust had cost her everything. Back in college, she met Vanessa. Smart, confident, charismatic. They became roommates, then best friends. Emily shared everything with her, especially one secret: her growing feelings for a quiet, mysterious guy named Michael. Emily had fallen for him the moment he walked into the student council meeting with his sleeves rolled and his sharp eyes scanning the room. She told Vanessa about every glance, every moment, every flutter in her chest. Vanessa had smiled supportively, even encouraged her to write a love letter, to confess. Emily did, pouring her heart into pages she thought Michael would cherish. She gave them to Vanessa to deliver, but Michael never responded. Not once. No text, no smile, nothing. Instead, just 2 weeks later, Michael was dating Vanessa. Emily was stunned. Betrayal doesn't always come with a knife. Sometimes it arrives in the form of silence, wrapped in a friend's hug. When she confronted Vanessa, she just laughed, tossing her hair back and saying, "Come on, Em, he liked my face, not your words." That's life. Emily left for grad school overseas soon after. She buried her heartbreak under degrees and late nights, telling herself she'd outgrow the pain. Years later, when she heard Michael's tech company was in trouble and that Vanessa had abandoned him to marry someone else, some part of her softened. She offered to help, stepping in as his assistant, hoping maybe the man she once loved was still in there somewhere. After a company celebration one night, a few drinks turned into a mistake. She found herself staring at a positive pregnancy test a month later. When she told Michael, he didn't flinch. He disappeared for a week, then returned with a ring and said flatly, "We might as well get married. It's better than an abortion." There was no wedding, no photos, just a legal form, cold and lifeless. Much like their marriage. Emily told herself to endure it for the child. Maybe, over time, things would change. Maybe Michael would let go of the past. But the past came back, wearing perfume and high heels. Vanessa reappeared in town like a storm, sweeping back into Michael's life as if nothing had changed. From that moment on, Emily was invisible again. Michael's eyes, the ones she used to love, only lit up when they landed on Vanessa. And worse, he began favoring her son Jake over his own daughter. Lily, just 6 years old, watched her father love another child like she had never been loved. And Emily, she was once again the girl holding a letter that no one ever read. But this time, she wasn't going to stay silent. Not for Michael, not for Vanessa, and definitely not for a love that never existed. The night after the field trip incident, Emily couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, while Lily clung to her side in silence. No more tears, no more questions, just a quiet, heavy stillness that felt louder than a scream. That was when Emily knew this wasn't a phase. It wasn't something Lily would forget in a few weeks. Her daughter had made her choice, and Emily had to honor it. She didn't pack out of anger. No, this wasn't some impulsive escape. She moved with calm precision, folding Lily's tiny clothes, wrapping her favorite bunny plush in a soft towel, placing a framed picture of the two of them into a carry-on. Emily had always been smart with money. Over the last 5 years, Michael had thrown cash her way to make up for his absence. Credit cards, allowances, property in her name. What he didn't realize was that Emily had quietly turned those crumbs into a fortune. Smart investments, strategic flips. Her net worth now sat well over $5 million. She didn't need him, and she never had. By morning, the bags were packed. Their flight to Seattle was booked. A new city, a new life. No more silence. No more waiting by the door. No more watching Lily's heartbreak in slow motion. Their new home wasn't massive, 2,500 square feet. But to Lily, it felt like a castle. There was a pink princess bed with sheer curtains, fairy lights strung along the ceiling, and a white dresser stocked with frilly dresses and sparkly headbands. For the first time in her life, Lily could jump on the bed without being scolded. She could laugh out loud during meals, spill juice on the floor, and sing at the top of her lungs without fear of that cold, disappointed look from her father. That afternoon, she ran into the kitchen barefoot, hair messy, cheeks glowing with joy. "Mum," she asked shyly, "can we have fried chicken for lunch today?" Emily smiled, heart full. "Of course we can, baby." They ate it on the floor, watching cartoons, giggling with greasy fingers and full hearts. Later that night, Lily crawled into Emily's lap and whispered, "Mum, can we be this happy every day?" Emily's throat tightened. She had given so much of her life to a man who never once looked at her with love. And in doing so, she'd nearly taught her daughter to accept the same. She hugged Lily tighter and whispered back, "Yes, sweetheart, Mommy promises. We're gonna be this happy every single day." But just as Emily closed her eyes, there was a knock at the door. She stood, confused. No one was supposed to know they were here yet. She opened the door, and there he was. Michael, disheveled, holding a 3-tiered birthday cake in one hand, and that same damn Hello Kitty doll in the other. The smile on Lily's face disappeared instantly, and Emily felt her blood run cold. Emily didn't say a word. She stood there, stunned, gripping the doorknob so tightly her knuckles turned white. Michael looked exhausted, eyes bloodshot, shirt wrinkled, the weight of guilt clinging to him like fog. He forced a smile, lifting the cake and doll. "I came to celebrate Lily's birthday," he said, as if that alone could erase everything he'd done. Lily peeked out from behind her mother, her expression unreadable. "Dad," she said softly, "my birthday already passed, and I don't like Hello Kitty anymore." Michael's smile faltered. "I brought cake too," he said quickly, trying to recover. "You can tell me what you like next time. I'll get you anything." Emily stepped forward, shielding Lily with her arm. Her voice was calm but sharp. "Michael, stop. Whatever show you're putting on, save it for Jake." His eyes narrowed. "So that's what this is about? Jealousy?" She let out a bitter laugh. "Jealousy? You let our daughter be bullied, ignored, isolated, while you held another child in your arms and posted birthday tributes that weren't even meant for her. You called yourself a father, but only when it made you look good." Michael's confidence began to crack. I made mistakes, I admit that, but I'm here now. I want to fix things." Emily crossed her arms. "You don't get to show up with a cake and rewrite the past 5 years. "I can change," he said desperately. "I'll cut Vanessa off. I'll be there for Lily, I swear." "You don't get it," Emily cut in. "It's not about Vanessa anymore. It's not even about Lily. This is about me finally realizing I'm done waiting for you to become someone you never intended to be." Just then, Lily stepped forward. She held the doll in her small hands, staring at it with the sadness only a child could feel. Then she looked up at Michael and said, "You can give this to Jake. He'll like it more." Michael's heart sank. "I'm sorry, sweetheart," he murmured, reaching to hug her, but she backed away. "I don't like dolls anymore." Michael was stunned. For the first time, he realized the damage was done. Later that night, Emily lit a candle on the kitchen table. Just one. The cake was store-bought, small and slightly melted. Lily closed her eyes, made a wish, and blew out the flame. Emily leaned in. "What did you wish for?" Lily smiled and whispered, "I didn't wish for anything. I already have everything I want." Emily felt her eyes sting. Just as she tucked Lily into bed, her phone buzzed. A text. From Vanessa. "Don't wait up. He's asleep. We're a real family now." Attached was a photo. Michael on the couch, arms wrapped around Vanessa and Jake, peaceful and smiling. Emily stared at the screen, then slowly deleted the message. She had no more tears left, only silence and the steady sound of a woman finally letting go. Emily didn't cry. Not when she saw the photo of Michael curled up with Vanessa and Jake. Not when she tucked Lily in and whispered goodnight. Not when she sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at the half-eaten cake meant for a celebration. That never happened. No, the crying had ended long ago, back when she realized that some people don't change. They just keep proving why you had to leave. By sunrise, Emily had made her decision. She called her lawyer. The divorce papers had already been drawn up months ago. She'd just never had the strength to deliver them. But now? Now she felt nothing but clarity. No more doubt, no more second-guessing. She signed her name, sealed the envelope, and dropped it in the mailbox without flinching. Then, just as she was beginning to breathe freely again, her phone rang. It was a number she didn't recognize. "Miss Emily," a voice asked. "This is Attorney Harris. I'm sorry to inform you. Michael has passed away." The world fell still. Emily didn't speak. Her breath caught in her throat. "There was an attempted ransom," the lawyer explained. "Vanessa's ex-husband kidnapped Michael in an attempt to extort money. It ended in tragedy. Vanessa and Michael were both killed. Her ex took his own life." Emily dropped into a chair, her hands trembling. It wasn't grief. It wasn't relief. It was shock. Like someone had slammed a door she hadn't fully realized was still open. The lawyer continued. Since you and Michael were still legally married, you're the sole heir. That includes his estate, his assets, and his company. You're now the acting CEO. Emily sat frozen. She had walked away from Michael emotionally, spiritually, but never officially. Now, she was the legal widow of a man who never truly loved her. And somehow, she was also the owner of everything he'd ever built. A week later, she stood in his corner office, 43 floors above the city. The view was stunning. Glass walls, polished oak desk, a skyline that stretched for miles. But all she could feel was a strange hollowness. "Mom!" Lily called from behind her, running in with a juice box in one hand and a sketchbook in the other. "Look, I drew our new house." Emily turned, and in that moment everything made sense. This was the real inheritance. Not the stock options, not the marble floors, not the multi-million-dollar company. It was freedom, peace, and a little girl who finally smiled without fear. They moved into a beautiful home by the water. 4,000 square feet of laughter, sunlight, and quiet mornings. No shouting, no cold shoulders, no walking on eggshells, just fried chicken lunches, bedtime stories, and weekend dance parties in the living room. One day, Lily asked, "Mum, will we ever see Dad again?" Emily paused, then answered gently, "No, sweetheart, but we wish him peace." And that was enough, because sometimes the happy ending isn't getting the person back. It's finally being free from the person who never saw your worth. If this story stirred something in your heart, we'd love to hear from you. What part hit you the hardest? Was it Lily's quiet strength, Emily's final stand, or the bittersweet ending that left them finally free? Stories like these aren't just about heartbreak. They're about growth, courage, and learning when to let go. We believe that everyone watching has a story of their own. Maybe you've faced a love that never truly saw you, or maybe you've had to rebuild your life from the ground up like Emily. So tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments. We love seeing how far these stories reach and how many hearts they touch. And while you're there, share your thoughts. What would you have done in Emily's shoes? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter in our series. Tomorrow's episode is just as gripping and might even surprise you. Your voice matters here. Let's build a community that connects through real stories, raw emotions, and the power of healing.